All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be breaking down the top prop bets, mostly in the MLB. Going to be touching on a little PGA and also WNBA. Let's go ahead and get into it. So today is a bit of an interesting board as well. It seems like PrizePicks and Underdog, for that matter, have kind of locked in a little bit with the NBA season being over. Especially with PrizePicks, where, and maybe it's just a little bit early in the day. I am doing this video a little bit earlier, but we saw this happen yesterday as well, where we're not getting as many of those big prop line differences that are just clear bets that we should be going out of our way to make, especially on PrizePicks, where we compare it against like Underdog. The closest one that we have to that today is going to be Corey Seager. Corey Seager to get over 6.5 for his fantasy score. We see the Underdog line closer to about 8.5, which is more in line with the average sportsbook line, which is also decently in line with the projection data. The issue that we have with that one is only has a 53.7% chance to hit. That is still a bet that I'm going to go ahead and make just based off of the board that we have today. I just think that that's one of those bets that we need to be making. Now, when we go ahead and get to the top of the board, we are getting some okay other bets as well. One of the bets that we have is going to be Josh Jung to get over 3.5 for his hitting fantasy score. Typically speaking, I would like to see the Underdog line, but just compared to how Vegas is expecting to go in the projection data, this line does seem to be a little bit too low. We look at what he's done recently as well. This is a game that should be a little bit higher scoring, and it's a game that we could end up stacking. That's kind of the issue, as well as a lot of the prop bets that we're getting are going to be in this game. So if you attack like too many of them, then the payouts can be reduced on PrizePicks. So you can't overly stack it. It's going to be up to you guys which bets you guys like the most. But this is one that's popping up as a decent one. Then we move on into the next one here. We got Christian Moore for over his hitting fantasy score. This is one that I don't mind. I kind of touched on this on a different video that I posted where I went over kind of free ways to go about researching and betting on the MLB. And this is kind of one of those examples where if we just look at kind of some of the prop lines that we have coming in, we're seeing that a lot of them are goblins. So if he gets a hit, if he gets a hit run RBI, if he gets over 0.5 total bases, yes, he's going to most likely be able to get to at least 3 for his hitting fantasy score. So this is a bet that not only is a good bet in terms of it being a push, but chances are he's going to be able to get the over with this bet giving us about a 53.4% likely to hit. So those are two bets we could start with. Those are perfectly fine. I'm going to continue with the MLB, so I'm just going to search by that so we can just look at those right now. I actually don't like this one for Vargas here. If you guys want to get there, you can, but it's not one I'm touching. Christian Yelich for under his 5 for his hitting fantasy score. You could argue he's due for a couple of bad games. I just don't want to get there. Garcia's okay for over his 5 for his hitting fantasy score. Not a terrible one. We already have Corey Seager in there. There are a couple of other ones where if we just sort by the Underdog line, I want to talk about here as well, where we are getting an Underdog line. Apologies. Now, one bet that I actually think I like the under on a little bit more, even though we're being told to bet the over based off the average sportsbook line, it's only about a 50.6% chance likely for him to get it. But it's in this matchup here, okay? Going against Boston, he's somewhat struggled, okay? He's given up 21 hits in 69 at-bats, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 7 bases on balls. He has stricken out hitters a decent amount, though 21 times as well. So I was hoping that we would get a bigger prop line difference compared to Vegas. If we were being told to bet the under, I'd be much more inclined to bet on this one for you guys. But it's worth calling out. The Underdog line is closer to about 33.8. That's not a terrible bet for us to get to. And then another decently interesting one would be Eric Fetty for over his pitching fantasy score. This is a bet that I think is going to be a close one. But if you look at the matchup going against Chicago, he's had 77 at-bats thus far, where hitters have gotten 22 hits. So I don't necessarily love that. He has given up 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 2 bases on balls, but 18 strikeouts as well. So overall, he's done pretty well in this matchup as a whole. And given the line that we're getting for him at 23.5, we would slightly be favoring the over. This was a bet that was popping up in earlier in the cheat sheet, where it did have about a 52.3% likelihood for the over to hit. So again, not necessarily a bet that we love, but I do like the consistency in his production at this line. 24, 22, 22, 31, 20. Like he's right there. We just need an extra pitching strikeout or, to get to, like 18 pitching outs, which is he's at 17, right? So it could just come down to him getting that extra out. Now let's go ahead and shift into some PGA prop bets. We're not necessarily getting a lot of big edges here, just as an FYI, but some interesting ones like Brent Snedeker to get over his 4 birdies or better. Where they're playing this week is Detroit Golf Club. There's chance that there could be rain in the forecast for today and then also tomorrow morning, which could end up making the course play a little bit softer. And I do expect scores in the AM, which he has an AM tee time, to be easier. And so there are 4 holes that you should be able to birdie at least on this course. Now, I bring that up because Snedeker is not necessarily like a good golfer these days. That name might hold some value to people that casually fall golf if they don't. He's an older golfer that's, just not good these days. That being said, like these golfers typically can, still compete with a bet like this that's a little bit under the norm. So I don't mind this. It's another bet that has a decent chance to be a push, but also a bet that I feel like we'd be forcing in there. And then I don't necessarily hake in to like Patrick Hanley and Collin Morikawa for under their 5.5 birdies or better, because getting to 6 birdies this week should be more difficult. So if that rain doesn't come that we're expecting, then the course could play a little bit more firm and fast. And if that occurs, then yeah, those 2 golfers to get under 5.5 birdies or better, for them to not get to 6 birdies, I could see us end up getting to those ones there as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into some WNBA prop bets. We are getting some okay spots, I will say here. It is interesting. We did see PrizePicks and Underdog, for that matter as well, be pretty quick about adjusting their lines throughout the day, which kudos to them, because that is something that WNBA-wise, the plus TV bets that we were getting, they weren't really bumping them. They're taking a while to bump. Hopefully they go back to that. Again, I think they're just a little bit more locked in right now with the NBA being over, but pretty soon I think they're going to start hyping up stupid stuff like, well, the NBA draft, Summer League, probably esports, and then NFL is going to be right there as well. I probably will be dropping a season-long props video here shortly as well, just as an FYI. But for the next 2 weeks or so, I do think they're going to be locked in a little bit. So we're not going to get as big of edges as maybe we had been. But that being said, we are getting some okay spots. Asia Wilson, don't necessarily love that the projection data doesn't like her over. But all in all, WNBA, a little bit tougher to project just as a whole for sportsbooks and also for DFS lines, which is what we have there. We do have Kayla Thornton for under 15.5 points. I'm going to go with this one. The average sportsbook line is telling us to bet the under, giving us about a 54.5% likely for the under to hit. Projection data also agreeing. Could be a tight sweat, but that's okay. And then from there, we're not really getting any prop line differences as well, which is a little bit annoying there, but overall, we'll take kind of the bets that we have on the board today. So let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I do want to see, are we getting any middles? And actually, we're really not. So a middle is these ones here, guys, where it's like an esports middle where we're getting a prop line difference. And that's really all we're looking at. We're really not getting that as well. So a little bit annoying. I want some esports prop bets. Those are kind of fun to bet on. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and take a peek at some of the bet slips that we are getting. We're going to jump to the bet slips here. Let's see. We're not getting any 25x payouts that we can jump into. Let's just take a peek here. This is probably the best bet that we have, guys, and look at the expected value that we have on that edge, minus 1.32%. So that is how tight of a board that we have today, which is unfortunate as well. So I'll at least toss in that Kayla Thornton bet that we have there as well, or sorry, the Asia Wilson bet that we have in there as well, just to include that. So we're getting a plus EV bet there. Not huge, but again, we're just making the best decisions in the long term. We're going to go ahead and bet this one. All right, so let's go ahead and take a peek then at the bet of the day, just to recap, guys. Again, we have plenty of time for you guys to be able to place this bet. Solid overall board. Sorry, it's not a solid overall board that we have today, so we are kind of forcing, this 5-slip bet in there to make it work. Again, I am recording this video a little bit earlier on in the day than I have been, instead of waiting, 3 hours. I assume we'll get some better bets throughout the day. We'll see. But for now, I'm okay with this 5-slip bet. Probably not going to be doing too many bets today, though, if the board stays the same as it currently is. Now, I did just want to call out one bet just in general as well when we're looking at some PGA bets as well. We should never begin these prop line differences. I talked about this a lot. Okay, so this is a bet where if you're trying to maybe extend your bet slip out a little bit more, you could end up placing this bet for Ben Griffin, who's arguably the best golfer in the field this week, to get under 69 for his strokes. And I think that's actually the correct move. I think that's a bet that we should include in there. So that's going to be included there in the bet of the day, because chances are he's going to end up being a push. So he is playing the best. That is worth calling out. Whether or not you consider him the best in the field, it's Collin Morikawa, maybe Patrick Hanley, and then maybe Keegan Bradley. Regardless, we can get, for argument's sake, the best golfer in the field when the scoring average is about 68 for him to score 69. it's over the average. So yes, bet on his under 69 as well. That's going to be included in the bet of the day there as well, just as an FYI. I think that's a bet we should be targeting. But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to all the tools for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. I will be hopefully adding in the underdog kind of optimizer there as well, like a half for PrizePicks here shortly, maybe today, but hopefully by the end of the week is really what I'm searching for there. So check that out, guys. Again, all the tools available on the website are available for $10 a month. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.